What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great day. Hey, I actually have an announcement for you guys. I will be chasing this nor'eastern here in the Northeast with a buddy of mine. So I'm going to have a video to put together, maybe a couple videos of this system, because we're going to get in there and we're going to get some good footage and some good pictures for you guys. So stay tuned after the storm, because we are going to have a great video put together for you guys, and we're going to try to get some get into that jackpot area of the heaviest snow, maybe some thunder snow. You know, that would be awesome for sure. But before we get going, if you haven't subscribed, I've mentioned this. I know it gets kind of annoying, but I've gotten a lot of growth over the last week or so. So thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for tuning in, for watching this video. Leave a like, share it. And I'm very active on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll be posting a lot of content of this nor'eastern as we travel up there on that over the next few days and things. But let's get going because we have a lot to talk about here. We're going to start off by the National Weather Service's output of what they think snow-wise, and then we're going to break down the Euro and the GFS and some short-range models and see how consistent they really are. This is looking like a blockbuster storm, a major storm for the Northeast. So here it is. Here's a wide range of expected accumulation over the next 72 hours from the actual National Weather Service. So this isn't the European or the GFS model you're looking at. These are the professionals. So, I mean, widespread 1.5 foot totals in Pennsylvania, even New Jersey, calling for a foot in New York City. Let's go on and get a little bit closer here. And check it out. This is the Mid-Atlantic. So Northern Virginia is going to get hammered. You guys in Washington, D.C., I've been pulling for you guys so hard because I know that y'all have been really screwed lately with snowstorms. But unfortunately, it looks like, and I'm starting to think it's going to stay like this, that y'all are going to definitely be right on the line where 20, 30 miles north or northwest of y'all is going to be getting hammered with over a foot of snow. And maybe 20, 30 miles south of y'all being all rain. But maybe a few inches here, maybe more. I'm pulling for you guys, but as you just go north, just into Pennsylvania, over a foot of snow, 1.5 feet. We get a little bit closer into the Baltimore, D.C. area here. We zoom in a little bit more, and there's Washington, D.C. right there. They're only saying 2 to 3 inches of snow. Man, I'm really hoping y'all can get a little bit more, but maybe y'all get enough to make the ground white. I tell you what, I live in South Carolina, and every year I hope for just enough snow just to make the ground white. That's how desperate we are down here. But check it out, just north. You get into Gettysburg, things like that. Reading. I'm not from Pennsylvania. I'm trying to think of all the towns in that area off the top of my head. But Reading, Allentown, things like that. This is going to be, and I'm going to talk about this, there's going to be some frontogenesis that films here, maybe a deformation band. I think if thunder snow is going to happen, it's going to happen in here somewhere. I know people haven't really talked about that much because maybe this doesn't have the dynamics for it, but I think someone's going to see it. Thunder snow, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a thunderstorm in the snow. It's a flash of lightning. It's super rare. Somehow here in the Southeast, I've actually been able to witness it twice, maybe 3 times. But it is a very cool experience, especially really for anybody. I mean, how often do you hear a clap of thunder with a flash of lightning during snow? That's something you would see in some kind of crazy movie or something. But New York City, even Long Island, we get a little closer to you guys over here. New York City, National Weather Service is saying over a foot of snow. You go over to Boston, this only goes out to 72 hours, so I think it's still snowing possibly in places like Boston. And I think this has room to trend north here for sure, and I think it will. But out in Cape Cod, obviously you're doing a little bit more warm air, the ocean influence here. A lot of areas, it's going to be a fine line here. I'm telling you, I think this area right here has a chance to be a blizzard as this storm kind of cranks up and starts heading out east. It will start to weaken, but there's going to be some winds thrown up in this area big time. It's going to be blasting this area. I think you may see some blizzard warnings in this area as we get closer to the time frame. But I tell you, New York City, just northwest of New York City, just north, hammered. That's going to be a jackpot area right there. But here it is. Check it out. You got this is the Storm Prediction Center, the watches, warnings, and things like that. And we're focusing on this. This is a whole slew of winter storm watches. I can click on each zone here. For instance, I can click kind of the Washington, D.C. area, here in the Baltimore area. and you guys, you can get on this site. It's weather.gov up here. and check your area. But winter storm watch is here. It has an area you barely can probably see it on the screen, but it breaks it down here. Very easy to understand. I will click this and try to get a little bit closer to DC just to y'all probably will have a little bit of a hard time seeing this on the screen, but even the National Weather Service saying 3 to 4 inches of Washington, but look, just north 12 to 18 inches. So you just need this thing to shift south. I'm pulling for you guys, but this is a really cool site. You can click on it for each region here. For instance, I can click on here in New Jersey. It shows more of the Philadelphia area and things like that. This actually, I saw this on Twitter earlier. This is really cool. The cutoff here is insane. If it can load here, you have, it's saying 8 to 12 inches in Philadelphia. I don't know if I believe that yet, but we're going to see 12 inches. But it's highlighting an area of uncertainty right here that's going to be very, very hard to predict. So we're going to continue to watch that. But this just goes to show you, this is probably the best example of it, the sharp cutoff of this storm. And I hate it, but if you're south of that rain snow line, it is going to be a battle for 12 to 24 hours of who's going to see the heaviest and who's not. So I'm pulling for you guys to get the best looking storm. But now we're going to check out the Euro here, and I'll tell you, they're in pretty good agreement. I'm sorry, I can't talk. And then I'm going to show you the GFS, which is still wanting to take the more suppressed look. But here it goes. The heavy snow gets going as you get into Wednesday night, and you get overnight into Thursday, and then that heavy band. I'm going to keep mentioning it. There's going to be some kind of heavy pivoting band that sets up right here. That's going to just basically not move for a few hours and just unload on somebody right in here. When we flip to the next frame, and I don't know who's going to get hit by it, but you know, somebody's going to get slammed by a nasty band right here. Sorry about the instant message, guys. I got some people IMing me on Facebook, but so we're going to watch that. Let's flip to the next frame here, and and here's a better look of just New England in general. And there's that band. And it really shows it getting into Boston good, but the brunt of it doesn't show getting into Boston. But I'm telling you, the storm has room to trend north, and it keeps the storm maybe a tad bit stronger than the GFS, which is what I'm about to show you guys here. But I'm not going to show you the operational model runs. I'm just going to show the ensembles here. So this is the EPS ensemble runs. Still just a good look, 11 inches. But check it out, 12 inches in Boston. You know, you wonder because almost every model, except some of these models I'm about to show you, actually the NAM shows it getting up there pretty good, but it still shows a mean of a foot in Boston. And what that's basically telling me is this thing might have a potential to trend north to you guys in Boston. But I'm still watching Pittsburgh. I've had a lot of people from Ohio and Pittsburgh ask. I think y'all will get a decent storm out of this, especially Pittsburgh. You just have to watch to see. You're gonna need to pull for a more northern storm too to get the preset band out to you guys. So it's tomorrow night. We'll get into more. Well, really Wednesday morning we'll get into more of just looking at radar imagery and seeing where this sets up. But here it is. Here's the GFS, and it's looking like it's about to crank up in New England. It looks like it's a pretty decently strong storm. And it gets here, and you got a major band setting up in New York City, northern New Jersey, central New Jersey. But look at that stout cutoff right here. That's heavy rain. That is extremely heavy snow. And then this low pressure gets really close to the coast. And Thursday morning, I think that's when you can potentially get some, we'll have to watch this, but some blizzard conditions right here in Connecticut, Long Island, Rhode Island, and the southern tip of Massachusetts. This is where a blizzard could really start cranking up as this low pressure gets close, starts throwing some consistent 35, 40 mile per hour winds for a brief period, and just this nasty band sets up. But look what it does. It weakens and it shifts. Heck, it almost looks like it dips south a little bit. It doesn't just go east. It goes like east, southeast. And you don't want that. And it keeps the heaviest precipitation from really getting far north. So Boston kind of doesn't get a whole lot here, and you know, so we're gonna watch to see if, because I'll tell you what, the GFS has been showing this for about a day and a half now. That's several runs, so it has been holding its own. It's not shifting. tomorrow will be a day. If it's going to shift, it's going to shift tomorrow. But as we get into tomorrow, these operational runs aren't going to matter as much, and really don't matter too much now. But so I'm going to show you, this is what it's saying. The snowfall amounts, it's showing a much more south, and it's not as robust, but the heaviest it's showing is far southeast Pennsylvania and actually central New Jersey, and actually into New York City, and then places along Long Island. And then that's about the heaviest stripe right here. GFS is just not as bullish. So it's kind of on its own. I think it's the only model really showing that more of a south solution, a suppressed look. But here comes the NAM, and here it comes, throwing some decent ice into this area. Maybe a quarter inch. Some areas could see widespread quarter inch, and a quarter inch of ice is a big deal. That's definitely ice storm criteria. But here comes the storm cranking up as we get into Wednesday afternoon. And then as we get into Wednesday evening, it's the full brunts begin to move into New York City. You look, I think maybe Washington, D.C. might start off as a blast of really heavy snow, and then it flips to rain as the low pressure gets closer. But maybe some backside snow. So I'm telling you guys in Washington, D.C. are probably going to see a big-time slot fest. And Baltimore, too. Maybe Baltimore's a little bit more favorable for maybe another inch or two, maybe. But Philadelphia, New York City, up to Boston. Really, this is where that band, I'm telling you, someone in here, and this is actually where me and my buddy are going to set up, someone in here is going to get 1.5 feet, maybe 20 inches of snow, maybe a chance to experience thunder snow, somewhere in eastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, into northern New Jersey. That has been the most consistent area on modeling of where a deformation band, a pivoting band, where, what I say pivoting, it's basically when this low starts to kind of switch directions, you start to get a flow, and as it's kind of turning out, there's a band that kind of works in and moves in a certain direction, but stays in one location due to the directional of the storm. But it gets going, it gets a heavy band of snow up to Boston, and eventually this is basically what you get. The best looking, and this is the NAM, so take it with a grain of salt, and don't look at that, because the NAM does not account for, this is not 3 inches of snow almost in South Carolina, but look at the area. This is a massive area of 1.5 feet of snow plus. So for you snow lovers, I'm pulling for you guys, but for you to get all the snow you want in the world. But I know there's a lot of people dreading this, and this is gonna cause major issues for sure. And I want to show you this. This is basically vortices, and it's going to basically pinpoint what I'm talking about this band. This area right here, this is a lot of energy pumping out right here. And somebody here, this is where that band's going to form, right into here, of heavy, heavy snow. And I'm talking maybe 3-inch-per-hour rates, guys. So that is something we really, really need to watch out for. But I do want to talk a little bit about the ice event, because, I haven't really talked about it as much. And really, when I talk mainly about South Carolina weather, and really the Carolinas and the Southeast. But so there could potentially be a big ice event with this. And this is basically the NAM model, the 3KM NAM model. And it's really aggressive. And honestly, I think it's doing a decent job. Basically, it shows as we're getting into Wednesday morning, maybe the wee hours of the morning, Wednesday morning, maybe some ice breaking out far, and I've been mentioning this for several days, some ice breaking out in far northern South Carolina, but becomes widespread later in the morning. But we have to watch out. Somebody's going to get in a dry slide here, basically, as these systems become one, if you will. But some heavier freezing rain, really the lighter the freezing rain is, the faster it accumulates. When you get heavy freezing rain, it kind of more just naturally just kind of washes away. It doesn't have time to really freeze due to water motion, basically. But this really becomes a widespread freezing rain event, especially when you get into the south central western Virginia, right here, where it just lasts throughout the day. But still, the triad of North Carolina, even parts of Piedmont, watch out Charlotte. You might get a glazing of ice. It'll be washed away by the afternoon, but we need to watch this, and here especially the National Weather Service thinking how much ice is going to get. And there's an area right there in south central Virginia of potentially over a quarter inch of ice, maybe even a third of ice here, a third of an inch of ice, and a tenth of an inch of ice, a glazing down into here. So they're not very aggressive with this, but we still need to watch deeper into this area. But that's pretty much all I got, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight, and this might be my last video really before I chase this, but it's coming. First big snowstorm of this east coast of the year, and it's happening right before Christmas. So for you guys who love a good old Christmas snow, here it comes. So that's all I got. Y'all have an awesome evening and stay blessed.